Even if you loved them at the time, a lot of movies are one and done, and you don't feel the need to watch them again. Take for example Requiem for a Dream or Manchester by the Sea or Schindler's List. Total masterpieces, sure, but they're so emotionally taxing to watch that you'll most likely want to sit through eyes wide shut with your parents, and nonetheless as a kind of film that demands a replay. These don't actually have to be the best films, though there is often an overlap. They can be excellent crafted rom-coms with razor-sharp dialogue that you want to hear over and over again, or energetic juggernauts such as Goodfellas that are more rewarding every time you run them back. Welcome to Popcorn Programming, and here is our picks for the 10 most rewatchable movies of all time. Pop pop! Official disclaimer, this is just 10 films. There are way more films that are endlessly rewatchable, but here's just a selection of 10. In number 10, we'll start out with Top Gun Maverick. Most of the action in Top Gun Maverick is shot from the POV of the cockpits of military jet fighters as they train for a daring aerial mission into the heart of enemy territory, which basically makes it a live-action video game by way of a theme park ride. The immersion is insane. The dad rock soundtrack all but forces you to headbang. And further to all of that, there's the paternal charisma of Tom Cruise guiding us through it all, like we ourselves are trainee pilots preparing to risk it all for a shot at glory. I mean, come on, is there another blockbuster in the 2020s that hits the exhilarating heights of that high-stakes final raid? The joke goes that men will do anything other than go to therapy, but chucking Maverick on for the 16th time comes pretty damn close. In number 9 we have the Grand Budapest Hotel. Wes Anderson's sugary, whimsical style has long been give or take, and you can see why some feel as though it has become a little irksome with the last couple of films, be the French Dispatch, the Asteroid City and the Phoenician Scheme, are all Wes to a fault. On the other hand, at least you know what you're getting, and if it's your kind of vibe, it can make for intoxicating stuff to return to. None more so than the Grand Budapest Hotel. His joyously silly, raucous work in which Ralph Fiennes plays M. Gustav, the proprietor of a mountain retreat forced on the run, alongside his wily mentee Zero, played by Tony Revolori, after he inherits an exceptionally rare Renaissance artwork. It whips by in a flash, and there's always something new to appreciate in Anderson's colourful compositions. And finds his performance fully committed and hilarious is arguably the best Anderson has ever put to film. In number 8 we have Notting Hill. There are a few movie personalities that you'd like to spend more time with than Hugh Grant in peak 90s rom-com mode. And then add on top of that, you've got the fact that Notting Hill also comes with the megawatt allure of Julia Roberts. Few actors would have been a better fit to play one of the world's most beloved movie stars, not least in 1999. It all starts with a serendipitous meet-cute in Grant's bookshop, which bristles with love at first sight romance. But, as their relationship grows, can they overcome the scrutiny of the public eye? In the meantime, scenes that hit like an arrow to the heart no matter how many times you've seen them. Grant charming his way through that fake horse and hound interview, right up until the race through London to win Robert's back. No rom-com is worth its weight without a scene like that. Four Weddings might be the consensus favourite of the Richard Curtis rom-coms, but none are so endlessly satisfying as this Grant Roberts classic. In number 7 we have Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. The cast is iconic, the music is mega, and the stories are timeless, but the true secret sauce in Harry Potter has always been the immersive escapism of the wizarding world. For better or for worse, adults across the globe, albeit with a crippling case of arrested development, are still waiting to receive their letters from Hogwarts, and Brits routinely pour their life savings into a once-in-a-lifetime trip to the Potterlands at Florida's Universal Studios. However, you don't need to do all that. Just stick on Prisoner of Azkaban, the MVP of the Potter movies, although Order of the Phoenix is a close second. It's not just the most technically impressive of the series, for which we have to thank the directorial talents of Alfonso Cuarón. Azkaban is also the one where said wizarding world feels the most genuinely spellbinding. You can practically smell the butterbeer coming out of the screen when the kids hit Hogsmeade for the first time. Hogwarts is at its most eerily gothic, and the production work all around is insane. It helps that Gary Oldman and David Thewlis, who are reliable scene stealers across the subsequent films, are introduced here as well. Sticking on a Potter film always feels like a nostalgic homecoming, hence why they fast become staples around Christmas time, but none so much as the third one. It's the consensus favourite for a reason. In number 6 we have Back to the Future. Hollywood pumped out instant classics in the 1980s like the world was about to end, but none boast the staying power nor the sheer rewatchability of Robert Zemeckis' time travel romp, in which teen Martin McFly, played by Michael J. Fox, brimming with boy next door charm, finds himself stuck in the 1950s after he takes a spin in the time-travelling DeLorean built by zany scientist Doc Brown, played by Christopher Lloyd, who is a madcap scene stealer. Undergirded by that magical Alan Silvestri score, as much as a musical landmark as the soundtracks for Jurassic Park, Jaws, and The Godfather, the film plays out like a tour through iconic movie scenes. There's Marty's DeLorean-bound escape from a Volkswagen full of irate Libyans, and his own mum, Lee Thompson, taking an uncomfortably close look at these Calvin Kleins. Later, the car chase that ends with Biff, played by Thomas F. Wilson, and his bully buddies covered in literal horse poop, right through to the school dance and Chuck Berry's Johnny Be Good. Yeah, you may not be ready for that, but your kids are going to love it. Marty tells the bewildered crowd, all blown away by his furious guitar solo. The same goes for Back to the Future, and our kids too. You're just going to love it. In number 5, we have Inglourious Basterds. The punky F the Nazis action of Inglourious Basterds aside, the film also serves as a testament to one of Tarantino's greatest superpowers, and that is that he's blooming brilliant at dialogue, but few other screenwriters so massively imbue their scenes with nail-gnawing suspense. Case in point, one of the greatest movie openings ever put to screen. We have Christopher Waltz's Nazi sleuth Hans Lander, an amazing performance steeped in both devilish charm and terrifying evil, interrogating a poor dairy farmer played by Dennis Menashe about the Jews he harbours under his floorboard. It's like watching a cat play with a mouse. The tension hardly lets up from there, as we're soon introduced to Brad Pitt's titular band of bastards after they've dispatched an entire platoon of Germans, and then Eli Roth beats the only survivor to death with a baseball bat. Later, there's the famous bar scene that descends into a bloody B-movie shootout of Michael Fassbender, who's cosplaying as a Nazi officer, gives up his British by using the wrong 3 fingers to order around. It's all delicious stuff to return to, and there are a few more enjoyable ways to kill 2.5 hours. In number 4, we have Die Hard. I know we said about Back to the Future earlier, however, Die Hard is the quintessential 80s movies. The action movies of the 80s were dominated by hulking muscle men. Look at your Sylvester Stallones and your Arnies for reference here. Who could balance a bazooka on their middle finger and mow down faceless baddies in the jungle before they broke for lunch? Hence why Bruce Willis, and then the star of the TV comedy Moonlighting, was such a breath of fresh air. In Die Hard, he reinvented the everyman action hero. His John McClane is a hard-boiled New York detective who finds himself caught up in a heist on Christmas Eve and begrudgingly duels the Germanic terrorists who take his estranged wife and her terrified co-workers, including Hart Boxer's hilariously coked-up yuppie hostage. On top of that, there's the foreboding score, cheekily mixed with hints of Jingle Bells, plus the quote-a-minute script, the megalomaniac but oh so debonair villain played by Alan Rickman, and of course, Reginald Val Johnson's Al Powell, the Twinkie-devouring LA beat cop who becomes McClane's man on the outside. The scene where they finally meet is the most dudes rocks moment ever put to screen. It is the perfect action movie, still the best one of all time, and if it isn't the first priority on your seasonal watch list, you're doing it wrong. In number 3, we have The Dark Knight. Though their dominance has waned over the past couple of years, comic book movies have become a cornerstone of the everyday movie-going diet during the MCU era. So it's sort of crazy to think now that The Dark Knight was the first ever superhero flick to hit $1 billion at the global box office. Nonetheless, Christopher Nolan's gritty and grounded Batman masterwork remains the best of them all, and it's not even close. This is in part because, as has often been said, it doesn't really feel like a comic book film. So much so as an explosive noir-enthused thriller. But of course, the main attraction here is Heath Ledger's deranged performance as the Joker. From that disappearing pencil scene through to his interrogation room tete-a-tete with Christian Bale's bats, the uniquely terrifying instability he captured is made further obvious every time you see one of those ubiquitous pound drop cosplays on YouTube. They might nail the makeup and the voice, but it's never quite Ledger. In number 2, we have Call Me By Your Name. At its heart, Call Me By Your Name is a beautiful story about a young man, Timothée Chalamet's Elio, still his best performance by the way, who comes of age during a bucolic summer in the Italian countryside. He falls in love primarily with Armie Hammer's Oliver, who is an older grad student who stays with Elio's family to work under his father, the gently spoken Mr. Perlman, played by Michael Stuhlbarg, and they pursue a sun-kissed romance. The story is intense, fast, and stays with you for the rest of your life. It is a real exercise in simplicity. They bike together around the local villages in the rural outskirts of Milan, party on the open-air bars, and the rest of their time together is basically just spent talking, contemplating, working out their place in the world. Yes, fine, Elio has some fun with the peach. It's a delicious Aperol spritz of a film, sweet with a bitter twist. Do be warned though, you'll never look at a fireplace the same way again. For one, we have Boogie Nights. Paul Thomas Anderson's movie almost all benefit from at least one rewatch. Quentin Tarantino said that you can't have an intelligent conversation about There Will Be Blood until you've seen it twice at least, and the more you watch Phantom Thread, the more you understand the knotty psychological game enjoyed by Reynolds, played by Daniel Day-Lewis, and Albert, played by Vicky Krieps. Similarly, Boogie Nights, which tracks the rise and fall of a young, well-endowed porn star in the late 1970s in LA's San Fernando Valley, also becomes more rewarding with subsequent watches. It's also just a ton of fun, albeit with dark, thorny undertones propelled by Mark Wahlberg's breakout performance. Moreover, it's the go-to PTA to show to friends who haven't yet been indoctrinated into his fan club. A cool, funny, and supremely tragic gateway drug into his complex filmography. And there you have it, there's always. So what do you think? Which movie would you rewatch over and over and over again? Let us know in the comments section below. If you've enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and click the subscribe button if you're new around here. That's all for now, so I'd like to thank you for watching, and we'll see you later. Pop pop!